After my mom died, there were a few years where my father and I didn't speak. Our grief took us to different places, and at a certain point, it was easier to just drift out of contact. When the New York Times ran their first piece about my book, I was surprised to discover that they had decided to interview my father. There was a quote from him that said, "I'm not a perfect guy, but I certainly deserve more than what I was given." Years later, I read about the Greek myth of the Gordian knot. In the palace at the city of Gordium, an ox cart stood yoked to a pole in a knot of impossible intricacy. Prophecy held that any man who could untie it was destined to rule all of Asia. Alexander the Great, on his march eastward, came to Gordium. He looked at the knot, and rather than try to untangle it, drew his sword and sliced it in half with a single stroke. The following year, in the course of another interview, I was told by the publication that they would have to reach out to my father for comment. I decided on a whim to cut the knot and call him myself. The phone rang and rang. I wondered what I would say, if we would argue, if he would cry, after all these years of not speaking, how we could even begin to unravel our complicated feelings towards one another. But he finally answered, jovial and wine-drunk in Crete. He just said,
"Tell me everything."
Tell me everything. Everybody's fine. I can tell you're drunk. Wandered somewhere, creation, Gordian like none. Rather by the day, tried to cut you off.